Hi, guys. Thanks for joining in. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. Can you guys hear me okay? Thanks for joining in. Thank you. Hey, Carla sis. Thank you guys for joining in. I'm going to go ahead and start this scope. For those of you who are just joining me for the first time, my name is Christina, and you are joining in on Straight Talk with Chris. Every week we come on Monday nights and we discuss a subject that we talk about in our private group. And last week the conversation was, should married friends keep their single friends? In that conversation, hey Sarah, hey Tori, we had a lot of different responses. Thanks, sis. When it came to this conversation, we had people saying that, oh, hey, Yolanda. Oh, yeah, you missed out on that conversation last week. There were a lot of many different responses last week. You know, we had some people saying that married people should not remain friends with their single friends. There were some people who said that they felt like it was okay. My experience, and this is what I'm going to share, is my experience as far as being the single friend who has a married friend. We have a friendship of 30 years. But even though we've been friends for 30 plus years, there are still boundaries within that friendship because I now realize that she has a husband. So I don't think that it's not impossible for single people and married people to be friends. Yes, I mean, because if my married friend had kicked me to the curb, that would have broke my heart. I mean, that's not just my married friend. That's like my sister. 30 years is a long time. But thanks, Sarah. You know, my lip gloss is popping just a little bit. But my whole point was, as the single friend, I understood that there were going to be boundaries, you know, as far as us having that friendship. No, we're not going to do the same things. I still have some single friends that I can hang with, but we're not going to do the same things that we used to do. You just can't when you're dealing with a married friend. I mean, if you're married and your single friend is going out to the club on Friday, Saturday, even Thursday night sometimes, then you might want to take that single friend and be like, okay, I love you, but I can't do with you what I used to do. Thank you guys for joining in. Share this with your followers. Let me see those hearts. But, and the same thing goes for a man. If you have single friends who, when they come around every week, they've got somebody different, then I'm pretty sure your wife is looking at you like, okay, you're not going to be hanging with him every week. I can understand that. Yes, I mean, you just can't. My married friend, we go to workshops together, we go to seminars together, we get up every morning and we go to the gym and work out together because we hold each other accountable. You can have that relationship. Now, the only thing I will say as the single friend to the married friends, you do not have to try to hook me up with every single friend that your husband has. Okay? That's my only thing. Because as the single friend, we all know that our single friends will look at their husband's single friends and be like, oh, well, I wonder would they might work together. No, single does not equate to desperate. I don't need you set me up on blind dates. I don't need the hookup every now and then with your husband's single friends. I just don't need it. And I understand that your married friends want to see you as happy as they are. I get that. I really do. And not only the married friends, when you're at a certain age, your family members, they are pushing husbands down your throat like they standing in the line to get welfare cheese. Stop it, people. Stop it. Everybody is not desperate to jump out and marry the first person that you throw in their face. Some people are actually okay. Yeah, Dan, I said it. Some people are actually okay walking in their singleness at that time because they're trying to identify who they are. So they don't want to jump into going out on dates, or you trying to hook them up, or you coming in saying, oh, well, let's go out. We're going to do a group thing. And then when you get to the place and you're in the group and then you look around and see all these little single friends and you're like, they're trying to set me up again. Everybody's not ready to be set up. Everybody is not looking for a husband or a wife. Yes, and some of them, you're just kind of like, now she knew better when she brought me out here that I was not going to want that person. Yes, that goes both ways. I mean, I just feel like if your single friend is okay with where they are right now, and they're okay in their singleness because they're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to figure out what their purpose is. They're trying to work on their vision, whatever it may be. Hey, Tori, whatever it may be, allow them to be who they are. Carla, leave me alone. You know, I can't help it when I'm talking. I'm smacking my lips and Carla is getting on me about smacking my lips, guys. Okay, I'm going to try to do better. But just allow your single friends to be where they are. If they are, I almost did it again, Carla. If they are trying to find themselves, you got to allow them time to find themselves. Some of your single friends may have just come out of a bad relationship. They just want to be just them. Just let them be. I say just stop trying to force a husband or a wife on your single friend. You know, me and my married friends, because I have a few, and I'll tell you one thing. A single friend can tell a married, you took it right out of my mouth, Carla, before I was getting ready to say it. A single friend can tell a married friend. We were just having this conversation not too long ago. And the thing that I said, my grandmother always said, whatever you do to get your husband, that's what you better continue to do in order to keep him. Sometimes married friends, they get content. I have him now, so, you know, I don't have to do anything. No, you still got to cook. You still got to clean. You still got to keep it spicy in the bedroom. You still have to do all those things. And as the single friend, I don't have a problem with telling my married friend, hey, girl, you know, it's time. Let's go. Carla, get out of my head. Let's go hit the gym, you know. Bedroom ministry on fleek. That's right. I mean, you cannot ditch. I just don't believe that you should have to ditch your single friends because you're married. We benefit from each other. When you're looking at your girlfriend, or guys are looking at their best friend and they see a great marriage, we benefit from that. Sarah, you and Carla are going to leave me alone about this lip gloss and me smacking my lips. I don't know who this is, but why do you have Periscope and why are you on my Periscope? Yeah, hold on a second here. Okay. So now I'm about to be, instead of on bedroom ministry, I'm about to be on block ministry because I don't have time for trolls. As I was saying, married people and single people can be friends. But we have to understand that as single friends that we have to set boundaries. If he was on the scope, Sarah, he just got blocked. Oh no, we don't want any friends with the Olivia Pope syndrome. Mm-mm. Or Mary Jane. Now, you might have a problem if your single friends are sleeping with somebody else's husband, then you might want to put them on over here in a corner. That might be the thing to do. Yeah, Mary Jane. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I think they're all pretty bad, but you might want you might those might not be the best single friends for you to have. And I think it all goes back to your history with your friend, knowing those boundaries. I'm not going to jump out and ask my married friend, I don't club, but if I was somebody that went to the club, I wouldn't ask my married friend to go to the club with me because she needs to be at home with her husband. That's not something I would do. But we do go out to lunch. We do go out to dinner sometimes. If her husband is working, I'll hang out with her. That's not a problem. I mean, Carla, you and Sarah are having a whole conversation on this scope. You go to the club sometimes. Are you married? Janae, is that you? Is online dating wrong? Online dating is not for me. There are plenty of people who like online dating. I think that is determined by you. If you're okay with dating online, then that should be for you. But online dating is something that is just not for me personally. But I don't have anything against it. If someone else wants to date online, I think that is all up to a person. I don't really think it's wrong. I've had some coworkers that I work with who dated online and they are married now and been married for years. So I just think it all depends on the person. But just for me, it's not for me. Yeah, there are too many weirdos. I mean, every now and then you'll find someone who, like I said, I had a coworker. They've been married for 6 years now and they met online, but I don't think that's just the outcome for everybody. So I think it all depends on the people, where you are, and what you're looking for. Yeah, and that's not what I'm looking for. So I just don't see online dating being for me. I mean, I think dating is hard enough without going online and finding someone to date. It's already hard enough to date. Yolanda, yes, talk about that because that was another subject that we talked about too. We talked about men, married couples who have single friends of the opposite sex, and should they keep those friendships? Now, I have had a lot of different answers when it came to that. There were some who were saying that absolutely not. Oh no, remaining friends with your ex, yeah, I now that I don't think it's a good idea. I've only had Yeah, I've had an ex that I remained friends with, but that was only because we had a child together. Other than that, no, I think that you should cut those ties and move on because once you've had an ex, you've been in a relationship, and especially and I'm just going to say, if you have been intimate with that ex, then you've made a soul tie with that person. So why would you remain friends with somebody that you made a soul tie with? What you need to do is repent about that relationship so that you can break that soul tie, cut that tie, and let it be cut. Yeah, once you've crossed that line sexually, you just need to cut that relationship altogether. Thank you for joining in, Pastor. Thank you guys for joining in. Yeah, once you cross that line, I personally believe that that relationship should be severed. I really do. Some people seem to think that it works okay for them. I just don't see it. No, if that opposite friend does not respect your marriage, then you need to cut them loose. Let me say this. If you have a friendship with someone and it is infecting your marriage like a disease, then you need to cut that friend. Why are you fighting to hold on to that friend? You need to let them go. Because one thing about an infection, if you don't treat it, it will begin to go all through your body. So if something is infecting your marriage, then you need to let it go. Because that's not respecting your marriage. There is no friendship that should come before your spouse. I'm sorry. And if it's causing that much drama in your marriage, then you need to sit down with your spouse and figure out what is going on. Why is this relationship causing so much drama? And if you plan to save your marriage, then you may have to go. Well, see, that's the problem. We're in church looking for the good single men. As a woman, why are we in church looking for the good single men? As a woman, why are we anywhere scouting out the good single men? That's just my question. As a Christian woman, I don't think I should be anywhere scouting out any good single man. I just feel like, and this is me, everybody may not agree with what I say. That's okay. I'm 42, I'm single, but I'm not going to be out anywhere looking for anybody. I will text you, Carla. That's the issue with these dating sites. When you're on a dating site, anybody can put up a profile to be whomever they want to be. It's just like Facebook, it's just like Instagram, it's just like any other social media. You can be whoever you want to be. That is why, as women, when we're dating, and Carla, I don't know if you're still up here, but please jump in on this one. And I've heard her say this time and time again. As women, we talk too much. We give out way too much information. And I've heard her say this over and over again. And then I realized, oh my gosh, she is right, because I have done it. We tell way too much in the beginning. We never listen to what they have to say. And this is why we miss so many signs in the beginning, because we're not paying attention. We're too busy daydreaming about this man sitting across from us looking like, oh, he's just so fine. You're imagining him being your husband. You imagining taking his last name. You imagining giving him kids, instead of sitting down and asking the right questions and then being quiet and listening to the responses. That's right. Sarah, you know me. Everything does not have to be deep. I think that these kind of dialogues should go on quite often. So I just believe that, you just have to take the time to pay attention, stop jumping the gun, and doing things your way. We just want to give a person everything. They do push for marriage, but I'm telling you, when you get on these dating sites, and I have seen it time and time again, There are people on here who are falsifying who they really are. Janae, he probably was being sarcastic, but I mean, but there may be some truth into what this guy was saying. I had someone else talking about Christian Mingle too, and this young lady was talking about the guys that she had met on Christian Mingle, and she said immediately she deleted her profile and she would never go back on another dating site after that again. So that's why I said, yeah, it's not for me. I need to be able to like just really sit and listen to what you have to say. I don't want to see this profile that you've made up in your head about who you are. Don't sell me a pipe dream or somebody trying to give me champagne taste on a beer budget. I don't need it. Oh, you know what? Well, I can't say that I'm not sociable, Sarah, because I don't talk to anybody. I just like to talk. I'm just outgoing when it comes to people. And I think sometimes when like you go to different outings with your friends, I think it's all about where your social networking is, where you're going. When I go to church, I don't see anybody in church that I would want to date. Well, half the time when I'm in church, I'm looking around. It might be a couple men in church, but all of them have wives. So, I mean, for me, it's been like out in the grocery store meeting people. If you're looking, I'm going to speak. Because I feel like, if you're staying hard enough, then, hey, how you doing? That's just me. But dating now is it's not easy. It's not easy. And I think that people think that, oh, you should be married or why aren't you dating? And they don't understand if you've been married for 10, 15, 20 years, you can't come to me and say, oh, well, why don't you have a husband yet? Why are you not dating? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you've had your husband for quite some time. You haven't had to be out here in the dating world, so you don't know how hard it really is. Yeah, girl, Yolanda, it's just as many of them in the church as it is out here in the street. So it's hard. It's really hard because you don't really know what you're getting. And not only as far as the men, but it's the same for men. Because some of these women that are in the church, these men don't know what they're getting when they get these women. They think they're getting something good, but they have no idea. Once that mask has come off and they see the real them, now this man is burned and he doesn't really want to deal with another woman. Now he just wants to be a womanizer. So we have to look at that both ways. We can't just look at it as one-sided and say, hey, there's a lot of bad men in church, because there's a lot of bad women in church. There's a lot of bad women in church looking for a man that they think is a godly man. And then when they get him, they turn into somebody totally different, because I have seen that happen too. So I think it may not be just as hard, but it's hard for some men too. Especially when you have a man who is really and truly seeking God and after God, it's hard for them too. Yeah, it is. That absolutely, that is real talk. I don't get up here and just talk about how hard it is for a woman or men are this and men are that. No, the same thing that men do, you can best believe that there's just as many, if not more, women doing the same thing. So nowadays, you just can't look at it and say, oh, men are dogs. They no good. They won't do this and they won't do that. Well, you know what? You got a lot of women out here too who are dogs, who are no good, who won't do this and who won't do that. We got to be real. It's on both sides. It's not just one side or the other. It is on both ends of the spectrum. So dating is not just hard. Women in church chase men because they're looking for somebody to, a lot of times they're looking for someone to take care of them. And a lot of that may be because they've had to be independent and take care of things for themselves for so long, they're tired. Then you just have some who are just out here trying to snag a husband because they just don't want to do it by themselves. There are many different reasons why women chase men in the church. Sometimes it's competition because they don't want Betty Sue over here to get him first because they all know that he's a good man. So it can be many different reasons. There's different reasons why women chase men in the church. There's different reasons why men chase women in the church. I mean, there's so much going on now until you can't really pinpoint a lot of stuff. But I do believe that it goes both ways. We can't just say men are doing it one way and act as if women aren't doing the same thing, because they are. Just as quick as you have men that'll cheat, you got plenty of women that'll do the same thing. Yeah, they do, Janae. I mean, and a lot of times I think hurt plays a big role in a lot of different scenarios when it comes to men and women. How they react to how men react to women, how women react to men, especially when there's been deep-rooted hurt. You know, I don't believe that men just jump out here and cheat just because they want to be cheaters. Because I've talked to some, and I had a young man tell me one time that he had a woman hurt him really, really bad. And he was like, after that, because he loved her, he was like, why would I put myself out there for that again? Oh yeah, absolutely. That was me. Something happened to me as a young child at the age of 11. So as I grew up, I felt the need to take control. So if I controlled the situation, then a man could never have control over me. So there's a lot of different reasons why people do the things that they do. But I think that a lot of it goes back to deep-rooted hurt. And either it has never been dealt with, you don't address it, or it's just been packed down, and that deep-rooted hurt over the years has snowballed into a lot of other different things. But for myself, I can say that that's what it was. And I, as an adult now, at my age, I understand that. But for years, I did not understand that. I just went from relationship to relationship, just hurting people. Because if I hurt you first, then that wouldn't give you any chance of hurting me. Because I had already been hurt. So I wasn't going to allow anyone else to hurt me. Yeah. So that happens quite often. And we just assume that people are acting the way that they act. Hi there. Thank you guys for joining in. You missed a lot, so I hope you get a chance to catch the replay. You have to get to the root. Let me tell you something. When you're dealing with issues, hi there. When you're dealing with issues, you have to understand with every issue that you're dealing with, there is a root. And this is the best way I know how to explain it. When you have a root of something, then you have all these other branches growing from that root. And usually those branches lead to anger, bitterness, resentment, rejection, depression, abandonment, panic, anxiety. I mean, you name it, the branches can go on and on and on. Well, if you don't cut it from the root, then those branches are never going to die. So when we're dealing with things, you need to go to the root of the issue. Because if you don't get to the root, then you're still going to be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, still dealing with those branches. And I'm speaking from experience because I never got to the root of my issues. So for a well over 20 years, I dealt with depression that almost took me out. Yes, other things keep coming. Some are afraid to go to the root. People are afraid to get to the root. But are you afraid of the root more than you are afraid of dying spiritually, of dying emotionally, mentally, physically? Because if you don't get to the root, your end result is probably going to be death. Whether that's a spiritual death, whether it's emotional, mental, either way you look at it. It is imperative that you get to the root. And I need for people to understand that, because if you don't snatch that root out, depression will kill you. Anxiety will take you down. Unforgiveness. Oh my God, unforgiveness will cause you to have such a spiritual, you'll feel like you're dying spiritually. Yeah, that hurt. But you're hurting more by not dealing with the root. You're going to hurt for that time when you get to the root. But can you imagine if you go ahead and pluck that root, that you'll have a life with some peace and some joy, as opposed to 20 years from now still holding on to that same hurt? Because where you're hurting, whoever is still in that situation, whoever hurt you, 9 times out of 10, they're not thinking about you. 9 times out of 10, they have moved on with their life and are probably living a happy life, because you're the last thing that they're thinking about. But while you're still reliving that thing over and over again, while you're still wallowing in your misery and your hurt, that person or those people have gone on. You are a mere afterthought to them. But you have allowed them to consume your very life by not getting to the root of the issue. So whatever power they had over you years ago, they still have the same exact power over you in present day time, because you have not gotten to the root of the issue. So you have to make a decision within yourself. Do I want to hold on to this and continue to live a life of hurt? Because see, when you're hurting, all that poison in you, you're spilling it out onto other people. Whether it be your spouse, your children, your mother, father, whomever it may be. You're carrying baggage all the time when you don't get to the root of an issue. And then you have some people who, they're carrying so much hurt. Now they're full of anxiety. They're full of stress. You can't sleep at night. That's tearing your body down. So you're giving that situation so much power. At some point, you have to want to take your power back. And in order to get your power back, you got to get to the root. Don't ever allow a situation or person to control you from the point of hurt throughout your entire life. At some point, you have to be able to let go and allow healing to come into play. Because if you don't, you're going to be miserable until the day you leave this earth. And I know that no one wants to live like that. You don't want to choose to live like that. So you have to make a choice. It's a choice to say, I'm tired and I do not want to live like this anymore. But only you can make that choice. So I just want to say I thank you guys again for joining me another Monday night for Straight Talk with Chris. I will be back next Monday. And as usual, I don't know what the topic will be until we discuss it in the group on Facebook. So if any of you guys are on Facebook, because we discuss a lot of things in the group, I have a private group on Facebook called Straight Talk with Chris. Thank you. So if you would like to join that group, just find us on Facebook because we talk about many things. It's a closed group, so no one outside the group will see what's going on. And people inbox me different stuff, so then I'll post it in the group and we just talk about it. So I thank you again for taking out the time on your Monday night to join me. Join me again next Monday. You too, Yolanda and Janae. Thank you guys. Love you. Join me again next Monday at 7:30 for Straight Talk with Chris. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Have a blessed evening.